Thank you for joining with me on day 92. These are the course companion notes by Emily Bennington. However, I believe this is written by Robert Perry, and this is the eternal fixation. I can't tell you how much I love this section and how glad I am it's in this edition of the course. In trying to capture its message, perhaps the best starting point is Freud. Freud peered deeply into the psyches of his patients and of humanity. But Jesus turns the tables here and peers deeply into Freud's psyche, something he says that Freud himself didn't really do. He tells us that Freud deep down knew the real meaning of fixation, but he was afraid of it, and so he crafted a concept of fixation that both mirrored the real thing yet also protected against it. Freud's concept was that we could get fixated at certain key developmental stages in infancy and early childhood. If we didn't complete and release either the oral stage, the anal stage, or the phallic stage, we would in essence be stuck there, constantly pulled back there, so that our adult personality would be dominated by that stage. This, of course, is where we get the idea of being anal retentive. This is someone who is permanently fixated at the anal stage. The beauty of Freud's concept, according to Jesus, is such that it has a number of learning advantages. He lists 3. That the mind can be fixated at a point in development that is different than the current point in time, that this point could be more real to the mind than its current external reality, and that the mind was always being called back to the place of its fixation. These 3 learning advantages, Jesus says, could have been powerful release mechanisms. They could have been messengers of the real truth of fixation, but instead Freud used his concept to defend against true fixation because he was afraid of it. What then is the real concept of fixation? According to Jesus, fixation is not about being fixated at some point in our infancy in this lifetime. It is about being fixated on our true infancy, on our beginning in God. You were externally fixated on God and your creation, and the pull of this fixation is so strong that you will never overcome it. In other words, fixation is the pull of God. What is this pull? In this world, we carry a chronic undermining sense of anxiety. We feel as if we are on our own. We have to keep all the balls in the air. No one will do it for us. We are like Atlas, having to hold up the heavens on our shoulders. This is such a debilitating condition that we long for a state in which all the burdens and anxieties are gone. We long to rest in our Father like an infant resting in his mother's arms. We want to lay our heads in the lap of a parent whose only desire is to shower us with care, so that all of our own cares are blissfully forgotten. All that's left is to bask in this love. Do you feel this pull? Jesus says we will never, ever overcome it. We are eternally fixated, and this fixation will always be pulling us back. But he also says that we are in the same position as Freud. We too are afraid of this pull. Why? Because we think it is trying to reduce us to an infantile state. I can really identify with this. This morning in my meditation, I kept trying to just rest in God's care, and yet my mind was full of its own cares. I have a workshop to give. I have other events I'm not yet prepared for. I have people to write. I have a book to market. I have commentary to write, this one. As I tried to cast out all these cares upon God, fear kept coming up. But if I don't hoist all these things onto my own shoulders, how will they get done? How can I just play the blissful infant, resting my head on my Father's lap when there is so much I need to do? I am an adult. I'm not a kid anymore. I do feel the pull of this fixation. It is always calling to me. But I also feel the recoil from it. It seems too good to be true, and so I just give myself over to it. And so, if I just give myself over to it, am I not in danger of being duped, of turning myself into a happy idiot? Thankfully, in this meditation, I was able to remind myself that if there is one thing I know for certainty, it is the care of God is real. So, if I know it's real, I asked myself, why not take the plunge and just let myself rest in it? Why not trust Him to shoulder my burdens for me? Why not yield to the pull? It ended up being a great meditation, long and restful. And afterwards, the commentary I was worried about just flowed. Hopefully then, I can keep making the same choice as I go forward today. Day 92, Section 9, The Eternal Fixation. Thank you so much for joining with me. I love you.